Hey guys, it's Christy, and I've been so busy, y'all, that I did not have time to actually film an August wrap up. So for this month, I decided to combine August and September to bring you all the books that I read all at one time. I wasn't in a reading slump, but I definitely decided to mood read a little bit more and read at a little bit more leisurely pace because I have got so many exciting projects and things to announce, some really fun things along the way. Hopefully in the next couple of videos, I'll be able to let you guys know about all of that. So without further ado, let's get into all the books I read in August and September, why I really liked them, and why some of you guys might like them too. First book I read was Fairest of Heart, which is a Snow White retelling set in the Midwest in the 1800s. So this book was a lot of fun. As you guys know, I love fairy tale retellings, and there was a lot of hype about this book, so I just had to check it out. And it was really cute. The main character's name was Penelope Snow, and she was employed for this very evil woman, and she was able to break free of that and ended up fleeing to these 7 grandpas. It was basically like a ranch for retired old men that she happened to come upon in her time of need, and she was able to take care of them. They took care of her. It was just really great. And of course, the whole Snow White story with the romance, it just played out in a really great Western fashion. So if you like Snow White retellings, I highly recommend Fairest of Heart. It's a great read. Next up is Hidden at Starshine. And if you guys saw my last video, you'll know that I read this book while I was at the beach. It's a perfect beach read. It's a Cinderella retelling, and the stakes are just really high because the prince is actually kind of an assassin. He's sort of like a ninja, and he is sent to find this girl that has something that the kingdom really needs, and she happens to be the girl. So they start to fall in love with each other, even though he doesn't know that she's the girl that he's supposed to kill, which puts her in a really bad situation because she's falling in love with this guy who's supposed to kill her, who happens to be the prince. It's a really great take on the whole classic tale. It's got an amazing island feel to it, so total summer vibes, great for the beach, or any time of the year really. It's Cinderella, so you can't go wrong with Cinderella. Next I read Princess of the Midnight Ball. Now, my mom got me this copy for Christmas, and she told me it was new. It was a brand new copy. However, when it arrived, there's no cover. So epic fail, Amazon. No, she probably got it used and didn't realize it. But here, I'll show you what the cover is supposed to look like. But this is a retelling of the classic fairy tale, The 12 Dancing Princesses, and I really enjoyed the way the story was written. It was written in classic fairy tale fashion, and it was the perfect story for the beginning of fall kind of read. Like, I don't know what it was about it. It was just so magical, and I think the story actually takes place all throughout the year, but for some reason I was just getting like total fall vibes when I first started reading this. The story was just so well written and really immersed me in this fairy tale world. So if you guys want a book that's just gonna feel like fall and fairy tales and happy endings, I highly recommend Princess of the Midnight Ball by Jessica Day George. I also read The Cheat Sheet, which I got from the library, and unfortunately I had to return it because it was very requested and I only had it for 3 weeks. But I really enjoyed this story. I don't know what it was about this story, but it just was electric right off the page, right from the beginning. These characters had been friends for so long, and they were both secretly in love with each other, but because they had been friends for so long, they didn't know how to break out of that friendship relationship, and so they both just kept reading into each other's signals, I guess you could say, all wrong, saying like, oh, that's just because he's my friend, or he always does that, or she always does that, or that's just her. they weren't really, they were so reluctant to accept the fact that they actually were falling in love with each other, and they were just scared of losing their friendship. And I don't know what it was, but the chemistry just leapt right off the page and it just kept me reading. This book is clean. However, there are some heavy kissing scenes, and there was a couple of times where I was like, oh no, they're gonna go too far. They're gonna they're gonna mess up, and it's gonna ruin this book for me. But they didn't. They always stopped, so it was completely clean, and the ending was just really, really sweet. So if you like clean contemporary romance, check out the cheat sheet. It definitely lives up to the hype. At the end of the month, I was happily going along, reading books just like I always do. And then my birthday came, and my husband decided to surprise me with a Kindle. Yay! I finally got one. And so far, I feel like it has completely changed my reading life because it is totally feeding my mood reading addiction, if that's what you want to call it. I love the fact that you can see a book somewhere out there in social media land or on Amazon or wherever and be like, I want to read that right now, and then you can like get it and like have it right then. So the first book that I actually ended up reading on my Kindle was Heart of Red, Blood of Blue, which is the Christian BookTube book of the month for August. And guys, this book is amazing. I have not heard one bad review about this. Everything about it was just so gripping. The twists, the turns, the characters are not who you think they are, the romance, just the plot itself, the stakes were so high. I mean, from start to finish, you don't want to put it down. I mean, totally unputdownable type of book. It definitely lives up to the hype. It's kind of like a medieval fantasy. There's not really any magic in it. It definitely has a lot of realism to it, where it makes you think that maybe these countries could have existed like 1,000 years ago or something like that, because they do mention modern languages like speaking French. So the whole world just feels very medieval. And what's great about it is there are some Christian elements to it. The characters do have faith, although it's not really heavy on that. Everything that happened as far as their faith was very uplifting. And the best part is this story is about a princess, so there you go. For some of you guys, that's all you need to know. Needless to say, if you like medieval fantasy, if you like reading tales about royalty, check out Heart of Red, Blood of Blue, because it is totally worth reading. So after I read this medieval fantasy, I was totally in the mood for something a little more contemporary, a little more modern. So I picked up Eloise and the Grump Next Door, which is written by Emma St. Clair and Jenny Proctor. Now, I've read Emma St. Clair, but never Jenny Proctor, so I was really interested to see what this book would be like, how they kind of came together. And this book was really fun. It was a sweet, clean romance set at the beach. The main character, Eloise, finds out that she has inherited her grandmother's bed and breakfast on an island off the coast of Georgia. And not only has she inherited a bed and breakfast, but she has also inherited her grandmother's lawyer, who happens to live on the property. So, so the romance ensues. He is obviously the Grump Next Door, and I really enjoyed this story. I think because my husband and I are actually, we're like grumpy sunshine, so there was a lot of similarities in the way he acts to the way my husband acts that I just found really funny and endearing. And what I loved about the story is it reminded me of my trip to the beach, because I just went there, and it was great to just kind of go back for a little while. So it was a great escape kind of book. Like if you're like, I just want to go to the beach right now, like maybe it's the middle of winter or something, and you're like, I just want to go to the beach. Like this is a really great book to just escape. This book was similar to the cheat sheet in that there was a lot of heavy kissing scenes and a lot of physical affection that happened at different parts of the book. So, but it was clean. So it was a little higher level of intimacy, I guess you could say, but it was still perfectly clean. Very sweet, very endearing story. Definitely a great book for contemporary romance lovers, and especially if you want to escape off to the beach. So right after I read Eloise and the Grump Next Door, I was really dreaming of fall, so I picked up Philia and the Fall Festival, which is the first in a series of fairy tale retellings all set in the fall, which I know is really exciting for a lot of people because there's a lot of fall lovers out there. So this was by one of my new favorite authors, Layaloha Humphreys, and she wrote a Little Mermaid retelling. I would say this is a very loose Little Mermaid retelling. It was mainly about this girl that was just experiencing a new world for the first time. She had never actually seen fall before because she's from an island nation. So it was kind of like her experience being in this new world. There were some other elements obviously that showed up in the story. The villain was kind of like a sea witch, and there was kind of this forbidden love story going on. Very sweet, heartwarming. It gave me all the cozy fall vibes. I really enjoyed this story, and I highly recommend, if you love fall, pick it up because it's just gonna make your heart happy. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed all of my recommendations for August and September. Happy reading, happy fall, and I will see you guys in my next video.